Join us as we take on the challenge of exploring Rhode Island's winter wonderland. Many people overlook Rhode Island during the winter, thinking there isn't much to do. Let's discover why that's a misconception. We have a long weekend this weekend. What should we do?
We can go somewhere, but it'd have to be within driving distance.
How about Rhode Island?
It's January.
Yeah, so
What we're gonna do?
I don't know. We'll find something. All right, so in this video, we're going to talk about activities to do, places to eat, and where we will stay. Before we jump in, let's get a 15-second geography lesson. Rhode Island is the smallest state in the U.S., covering just 1,200 square miles in the New England region. For this trip, we've decided to stay in southern Rhode Island in the city of Newport. Rhode Island is referred to as the Ocean State because it has more than 400 miles of coastline, making it a popular summer destination for beaches and water activities. But what's there to do in the winter? Let's start with the Mansions and Cliff Walk. In Newport, you can find a collection of historic Gilded Age mansions that were built in the late 19th century by some of America's wealthiest families. The Breakers, perhaps, is the most famous mansion that was the summer house of the Vanderbilt family. There are several tour options available, such as Below the Breakers, where you'll get to see the original mechanical and electrical systems and see photos of how this house was built in just over 2 years. Separate tickets must be purchased for a self-guided tour of the house and grounds, but it's well worth the price. The second house we toured was Rosecliff, which houses the largest ballroom in Newport. The house itself is not quite as impressive as the Breakers, but it did have an interesting art exhibit showing how animals influenced the Gilded Age design and fashion. The Newport Cliff Walk is a scenic 3.5-mile walkway offering breathtaking views of the Atlantic Ocean, rugged coastline, and luxurious mansions. The walk was designed in the 19th century as a way for the wealthy to stroll along the ocean while enjoying views of their estates. Woke up this morning and
It is snowing.
today the weather is more of what I thought Rhode Island was supposed to be like. After talking to locals, they don't really get snow. And
The ocean keeps it very temperate, so it's mild in the summer and mild in the winter.
All right, so today we have a seal tour on a boat. This is a winter activity that maybe you didn't know existed.
So while Narragansett Bay is home to a lot of animals year-round, today we're hoping to see some of our seasonal visitors. Who are we hoping to see today? Seals, exactly. They begin arriving from up north in Maine and Canada in about October and November, and they'll stay in the bay until about the end of April. They come into the bay for a number of reasons. The first is following their food source, so things like fish and squid. There's an abundance of them here in the bay. There's also plenty of spots for them to rest or haul out on, which we'll talk about in just a moment. And they really don't have too many predators to worry about here in the bay. Harbor seals would worry about things like polar bears and gray white sharks and orca whales, which we don't have here in the bay, so they're relatively safe.
While we only saw a few seals from a far distance, it was fun seeing Newport from the water, and it wasn't as cold as I thought it would be. Next up is the Newport Car Museum. This indoor museum opened in 2017 and features over 70 cars, including vintage models, muscle cars, and exotic vehicles. This is a great attraction for car lovers, those who are interested in the history of auto design, and even people like me who know almost nothing about cars. Luckily, I had John there to teach me a thing or two.
Arrowing will actually go down and come back up depending on speed and what's going on with the car and what setting you're in. It's a W16 engine, 1,001 horsepower, top speed 253 miles an hour.
There's also a really cool gift shop with hundreds of model cars and toy cars if you're looking for gift ideas. There's also just exploring the city. I was extremely surprised to find that Newport is packed with shopping, from typical clothing stores to hundreds of family businesses. Because it's an off-season, street parking is free, but there are a lot of closures, so you definitely will not get the full shopping experience as in the summer. However, we found that off-season doesn't stop the locals from taking part in water activities. Now let's explore Newport's food scene, starting off with breakfast. There's no shortage of coffee shops in the area. We made sure to try a different one every day, and Café Buku was the winner in our book. This small coffee shop features French pastries in a warm and cozy atmosphere, and even gave handwritten notes on the napkins. Boddington Brewery is a thumbs up.
Middletown, Rhode Island. One of the first breweries in this area. I think I saw they opened in 1995. So it's pretty old for a lot of craft breweries.
The beer was surprisingly good. I got a full tasting. There was a little blueberry beer that actually they put actual blueberries.
Like frozen blueberries, right?
It was really good. And then the food, we started off with Rhode Island calamari. It comes with banana pepper rings. Probably the best calamari I've ever had. I ended up getting the clam chowder. Very meaty, had tons of clams in it and potatoes.
I had a Reuben. This was almost like shredded corned beef, and it was easy and light to eat, but then super flavorful. I was very impressed. Probably one of the best Reubens I've had.
Newport is known for its seafood, so for dinner on our first night, we went to a local favorite, the Mooring. All right, so we got the seafood fritters, and it's kind of like donut consistency. It has like chunks of shrimp and lobster in it with some kind of maple sauce. It's really good. I have no idea how to crack a lobster, but I'll figure it out. And John got branzino. For our second night, we ventured out a little further to a top-rated ramen shop in Bristol. We recently visited Japan, and I'll have to say, this izakaya's food was pretty authentic. And of course, it would not be one of our adventures without a visit to a local brewery. Ragged Island is located just outside of Newport in Portsmouth. We have visited over 200 breweries, and this was the most unique interior with an actual beer garden and a greenhouse. This place is definitely worth a visit. And for our last segment, we'll talk about accommodations. After much research on location and price comparison, we decided to stay at the Wellington Resort. The resort is situated in the heart of downtown along the bay. It offers indoor and outdoor pools, but some of the reviews suggested that the indoor pool wasn't heated.
It's a huge difference from outside. It's humid and on the verge of hot.
We had easy access to the pool area through a backdoor entrance to our suite. It is a 2-bedroom. It's got a nice view.
Huge kitchen.
The whole place is huge. We're staying for 3 nights, and it was $500 for all 3 nights. It is a little bit dated, but it's nice. The view out of this window is just...
The best thing to look at is the Rivian.
All right, so we're going to start off with our final thoughts on Rhode Island.
I feel like we could have stayed longer, and I think there's just more to do and see. It's just a beautiful place.
Newport really has a lot of charm because of all the waterfront and the mansions and everything.
Southern Rhode Island, Middletown, Newberry. Is it Newberry?
Newberry, I don't know where Newberry.
Portsmouth are great little spots. We really enjoyed being down here. It's really great just to look out and see the Narragansett.
Narragansett, is that right?
I think that's right.
I don't know. You guys correct us.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Hit that subscribe button.